Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast 377. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and not alongside me is not Johnny V. He is not here. In fact, I actually just got a message from him a few moments ago that he was just landing. So he is coming back from a business trip down in Texas. So I said, screw it, we're going to go it alone. And well, I'll run the show. It's a little different setup, as I'm sure you've already noticed. This is kind of the light version, but the show tonight should be great. It's going to be anything but light. We're going to have in just a few moments Jamie Spencer. She's going to be joining me. She's your tournament director and the lead woman in charge over at the 2021 Phoenix Ladies Open, which I was just at a few days ago. And then shortly after I'm done talking to her, we're going to have Ohn Scoggins join the show. And we'll talk to Ohn about the incredible season that she's had, and of course, the amazing performance that she had just this last weekend. So there's going to be a few things that I have to run around and do because, as you guys know, Johnny V is usually the one pressing the button. So I need to make sure that everybody is good to go. I want to check the audio levels and make sure that we are all set for you guys. And it's going to take me just a moment. So bear with me. I want to make sure that this is in fact good to go. Holy cow, I see some of you're on the board. If you guys could give me a little heads up and just double check that the volume is good. I can see my face on screen. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but I see that the light and everything else is working and you guys are chiming in. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the one and only tournament director from this weekend. That's Jamie Spencer. And Jamie, we practiced this. If I press the right button, this actually should work. Holy cow, here we are. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
All right. Well, I missed what you just said because I had to repress a different button. How are you doing? Now I can hear you.
I'm doing fine.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your patience. If anyone out there got a chance to actually watch the coverage that was just released today, that's where they probably heard your voice. You were in fact not only graciously enough the TD, but then you jumped on the mic with very little notice last night and then gave the shot by shot coverage. What makes you more nervous, doing play by play or actually going out and playing golf?
Oh, geez. Well, the play-by-play sometimes because I don't want to slip up and say something I might say off the cuff with friends when I see certain shots. So I'm really paranoid. I'm going to be a little loose lip, and yeah, that's probably my biggest fear. And I mean, with disc golf, I mean, the way that those girls played this weekend, I make it look completely different. I think I make it look really hard. So I I find things you're not supposed to find. So that's how I play. I like to, make it interesting.
Well, the most fun wins, and sometimes that doesn't mean the least amount of shots. So I guess we could go with that. You also graciously joined me a few months ago, and now that we think about it, all the way back in late February and early March for doing the Memorial coverage, and that was your first time ever doing shot by shot commentary, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's dive into a few of the details from this weekend. I often gush about how incredible this event is. I've been involved with it for the last 3 or 4, maybe 5 years now, and I feel very fortunate. I wish I would have been involved even earlier, but this is the 15th iteration that you guys just hosted this last weekend, and you had, when it was all said and done, 140 women that competed. And let's start with the basics. How did you, of all people, how did it fall on your shoulders to become the tournament director?
Oh, okay. So I played the PLO some years ago, and I think that was the only time I actually got to play it. And I was there, and the tournament director at the time was actually saying that was going to be his last year running it. I think he only ran it a couple of years, but I had such an amazing time there. I sat in the background. I thought, oh my God, I can't watch this fall apart. This was literally the best experience I've had in disc golf so far with other women. So I literally said to my husband at the time, I said, you need to go run over there and tell them that we're going to step up and do this for you guys. So we did. And the guys took over. So Michael and Pete Ulibarri, they ran the show, and I was the sidekick on the side, just really saying, hey, these are things I really like we should do for women. And then after that year, which was what, 3 years ago now, 4 years ago, after that, I became more the front runner, and then now I'm it. And I've got my other leading ladies that are stepping up and helping me out too. So we've actually formed a really strong group here in Arizona. So it's actually getting really exciting.
Yeah, and I've put on a lot of tournaments. Some have been very small, and I feel like you could almost run them in your sleep, and then all the way up to the World Championships and everything in between. But when you're dealing with a women's only event, really the theme that's been consistent around the country is let's do everything we can do to be warm, welcoming, encouraging. And then usually it's almost a bonus, but then spoiling the players on top of it. And I feel like you guys absolutely fit into that model. What's it like getting sponsors is there any way it's easier maybe for a women's only event versus a regular event, or is it still tough to go out there and get supporters?
I think it's tough to always get supporters. I think just because you're a little concerned, especially with times like we are in now. It was a little concerning coming into it because we do want to get bigger and better every single year. And when you're coming out of a pandemic like what we just had experienced, you don't know what businesses are going to be able to support something of this size. So it was actually really exciting that one of our new girls in the program here, Sandra Martinez, was able to really step up and get tons of good new and upcoming companies. So, and then we were able to also get the new disc store, Disc Shack. They came up and they had a great setup right next to us and actually saved me in a pinch because we actually ran out of one of our players' packs. So I was able to get them to give us a disc at the last moment. So it's amazing what people will do for women's disc golf. We have some hardcore people that have been doing this for years. So Spinners is always right there, willing to do something right in a pinch. Sometimes I feel like I ask them for something and it's already done before I have a chance to ask or follow up on it. And then Paul Sacco is always there, front runner for it. So you just have those people that you can count on. And it's just exciting to see other people get involved. So, I mean, I can't say enough for everyone that stepped up. So a lot of new names.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, first off, I think it was just yesterday. It was Ashley's birthday, one of the one of the main front runners over there at Spinners on the Green, and he was out there this weekend helping, all hands on deck, as you've said, for many years. We've seen Spinners involved, and then Paul, who's a lawyer. I know I mentioned it during the coverage, but it feels like he's supported this event as long as it's been around. What's Paul's involvement with disc golf, and how does that does he know that disc golfers are going to just make possibly for great clients when it comes to lawyer needs, or where does the connection come from?
Well, some of them are his clients, but I mean, he's probably always hoping that that'll be one of the results of this. But I mean, ultimately, he just loves to see us women coming together. That's one of his biggest passions that he asks for every single year. He's like, Jamie, you got to get more women involved. Jamie, get more women involved. I'm like, but they all want to play. I'm like, it's so hard. You're like, all these women come help me, and then the day of, they're like, okay, see you later. And so it's so hard because you're just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But he is avid about bringing women together with this sport. And I got to say, like, he's one of the first people I met too. I went and played his night league. Used to have a little traveling night league. And he actually got to the point where he got more women involved and actually made us our own little tags and everything. So it was actually really exciting because I was a night shift nurse. So I actually got to hang out with him, and I would go out until 10 o'clock at night playing disc golf. And so it was
I don't know. I hope I didn't lose you. Seems like you might have gotten a little bit. You still there, Jamie? I don't know if that's I think that might be just on her end. Sorry, everyone.
Are you there?
Yeah, there you go. Now you're back. You're back. Sorry. You got caught up there for a second. You were talking about being a night shift nurse. Wow. Being a night shift nurse and how you used to go out and play and you had your own tags, and that's where you kind of cut out on us.
Oh yeah, that's really how I got to know Paul, is through the night golf. So I kind of got branched into them, met more and more people in the scene, and it just went from there. So you can't say enough about Paul.
Yeah, and I think about some of the support staff. Of course, you had a handful of men that were there. Chris Cobb, who's a regular smashy and just an all around great guy. But and Paul and Pete Ulibarri is there often, and so on and so forth. But you have people like Tanya, Sammy Kennington. You have these people that also really have to probably weigh the decision of, am I playing or am I helping, or is there a way to do both? How are you going to recruit women that know disc golf to help, but that are willing to give up their play?
That has been a hard thing to do, because every year people are like, why didn't you play? Why didn't you play? I'm like, did you see what happened today? There's no way I could have played. I got 3 hours of sleep last night and maybe 10 hours the entire week due to stress. So, I mean, you can try to do both, but it is really, really hard, especially if you find out something went wrong. You need to be able to be there. You can't just be thinking about your game. It's just thinking of one or the other. You just can't seem to do both. At least I can't do both. So I'm fine with stepping up and doing it. I've already put my game away for this event, so I wouldn't ask the other girls to not play. But I can see it's going to weigh on them as well. They feel that pressure. So it's just tough, trying to do both.
Yeah, and let's talk about your participation a little bit. I know it was said during the meeting that if you guys brought 10 new women every year, that would be kind of a goal. Here we are 15 years in, you have just about 150 women that played, so you're on that pace. But in order to have 140, 150 competitors, you guys had to get a little bit creative this year. Break down what some of the thought process was.
So we get too tight. We've been moving around. We were trying to get back on a ball golf course this year, and it just didn't pan out. But man, I was really holding out for it. So then I just said, you know what, we got to make this happen. And I'm not willing to pay some of these extreme fees that they wanted us to do. So we went back to Vista, and I'm like, how can we make it work? Because we found that when we squeeze that many women on one small course, you either have to add excessive amount of holes. And if you're doing 2 rounds in one day, it just becomes just exhausting for everybody. So we wanted to make it fun and not exhausting. We wanted people to be smiling at the end of the day, not just like, I'm ready to go to bed. So we literally said, how do we make the backside of this course usable? So Sammy and I literally walked over and they were like, let's turn this into an 18-hole course. Let's see what we can do. And let's make the one side hard and the other side fun, but challenging. So if you're a brand new player, you're still going to have a little bit of a challenge, but you're not going to, want to go home and cry yourself to sleep that night. So we wanted to make it fun for everybody and keep the speed going. And I got to say, I was shocked when those girls walked in at 11:30. I could not believe they wrapped that whole thing up and were coming in to check in with us. I thought it was going to go until at least 12:30, and I was wrong. So I'm actually pleased with that.
Yeah, the flow kept going, and it seemed like there were plenty of birdies had, and just overall not punishing. And I think one of the things that's my favorite part of the event is knowing that it's a lot of newer players and knowing that we have a lot of obviously all women's participation, just trying to avoid some of those really difficult water carries or playing too close to the water or very close to the water. We know Vista offers that, but some adjustments are made so that people, if they are struggling or if it's rough out there, they're not just, throwing gobs of plastic into the water.
Yeah, that was my concern as well. We did have a couple holes on the Rec Junior and age protected AM side that I was a little concerned, but it provided challenge, and it sounds like there wasn't much lost, if at all. So overall, it sounds like it turned out really, really well. And I'm actually hoping if we did this again, that we are going to hit those numbers, because now that people see that they can get through both courses and it's not, 27 holes, which we've done in the years past. It's actually, I think it's going to be more fun for everybody.
Yeah, so I lied to you earlier. I said I'm not going to drill you or grill you with any tough questions, but I think you know this one.
Okay.
How many, when it was all said and done, 140 competitors
Mhm.
that finished,
Yeah.
how many different divisions did you ultimately have offered participated in? How many different divisions of women did you have?
Gosh, I had 20, and then I lost one, so I think I ended with 19. That could be wrong. It changed so many times.
Is that your final answer?
I think so.
Well, you're right. That's exactly what I just counted, at least,
Okay, good.
per the PDGA, and I'm going to put the link in the YouTube chat for everybody right now. That per the PDGA, I counted that you had 19
Mhm.
different divisions represented, and that's so encouraging. That's exciting. I mean, that's really says to everyone out there, hey, the PDGA offers age protected both for younger and older players, and then all of your amateur and professional, variations. And the fact that you had so much diversity, even within all these women's divisions, I think should be really encouraging for others to say, hey, if there's a division I normally don't get to play in, well, maybe there's competitors at this event, and I should really look into that in future years.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't, I try to keep them all open, and some people are like, "Why are you keeping all of them open?" I'm like, I want to see what happens. I want women to show up and pick their age group and have fun doing it. And I didn't move anybody. So if anyone moved, they chose to move. So I didn't say, "Hey, well, there's only one of you in here. Let's put you with these people." I wanted to give everyone a fighting chance to take that first win, down, because we all want to do that. We all want to win. So I was gonna go with it. If there was one each division, and we just make it happen.
Yeah, and impressively, 2 out of our top 3 competitors in FPO, spoiler alert everyone, were actually eligible for an FPO or an FP40
Mhm.
division, but they opted to play in open instead. So yeah, there's something to be said about that as well, and the competitiveness that was out there. Now, with so many divisions and trying to cater to so many people, you had the 2 different courses, which are a great way to do that, and to break everyone up and put them in appropriate challenges. What's your mentality when it comes to players packs, payouts, things of that nature? How do you guys digest, how you're going to cater to the players in those ways?
So we've changed it over the years. We've always done certain things in the past, and that was actually a hard pill for me to swallow this year, because I was always still like, okay, we've always done it this way. They've always done it this way, and then I took this over. And who am I to start changing things so drastically? So I did make some hard decisions this year, actually from the feedback from the new ladies. So we didn't do shirts, which we've always done. So then I was like, well, I want to give them something really good in place of that. So we actually were able to get some visor situations worked out.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. And then we did the hydro flasks. And actually, there's a whole story behind that no one really knows. But we ended up having to purchase the hydro flask twice. It wasn't me that paid for the second batch. Actually, Mook from Infinite Discs really helped us out, because our hydro flasks that we ordered were not a name brand. That way, any player would want them, because sometimes if you have a certain sponsor, people can't carry that sponsor. So we had gone a route that everyone would want that, and yet they sat out on a boat in the water. So we weren't going to get them in time. So we had to reorder. Mook came out with this amazing logo, and he etched every single one of those Prodigy hydro flasks and was able to get it all done before the day of the PLO, which is mind blowing. So I just want to make things that are memorable, but I want everyone to be able to use them. So we usually give everybody something. So I had the pro players have a little bit less in their players pack, and then everybody else, age protected pros and down, had practically everything you could possibly think of. So we throw so many things at them. It's not even crazy.
Well, I mean, that's what I was just going to say is, disc golf is definitely trending in the direction, just like an event I run in a week and a half. The entry fee is $45. I'm going to have at least 150% of that value that's coming back at them. And then they're playing for the trophies, but there's not a payout. And that's been kind of a transition as opposed to even 10 years ago. And the fact that you guys have an absolutely insane players pack with a ton of value, and then there was still some prizes and such given away after that, I think is incredible.
Yeah.
What were what was that conversation as to how you want to treat the players in that way? I mean, was there a conversation about just straight player pack versus doing payouts or the combination that you did?
Yeah, we had this conversation last year. We had some challenges with our payout last year, paying out so many of the AMs with their players pack being so large in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much what the answer to that was let's just get more sponsors. Is what we came up with. So I said, I want everyone to get a payout of double digits or more. And I don't want anyone walking away with single digits. I don't care how big their players pack was. We're going to make it happen. So that's kind of the decision. Either we get more money or we change a couple things up. Either way, the women need to walk away with the same, if not better, than what they've received in years past at the PLO.
Yeah, and what I think is insane, and I think you have a few final details to tweak, but if somebody goes out to the link that I put out there and they took a look at the 19 different divisions, and when you look at the projected payout, which I know you pretty much went straight down the list of, I see payouts that talk about at the very bottom line of that, it says entry fee payout, and it says 342%. 360%, 467%, 469%. Like those are pro divisions that we're talking about. And then on the AM side, 359, 432, 620%. The juniors, as always, which is great. The juniors absurd payout of 1,033% of their entry fee. To pay $25 and to get $150, $200 worth of stuff when it's all said and done. I mean, I know I said the word spoil before. I think that's almost even extreme spoiling. That's ridiculous. All in a good way.
Yeah, it is. It's all in a good way. And we made sure we paid out every single junior. So every junior was 100%. That whole division, just everyone walked away with something. So we want to reward people for coming out and playing this sport. It's not easy. I mean, like I said, I can make an easy shot look pretty dang hard. So if I'm asking a junior to go out there in 80-degree something weather and play 18 holes that they didn't even get to practice, really, I mean, they should get something for that because I want them to keep coming back. We want them to keep coming back, and we want all the women to stand up and support each other. So we don't want to be there and beat each other down. We don't want to have everyone walk away with a sour taste in their mouth. So if I can get them happy and make them love being there, then they're going to have that same experience I had when I went to the PLO. And that's why I said, this can't fall apart. This can't fail. We're going to take this over, even if I have no idea what I'm doing, which, by the way, I didn't. And I still am learning. I learned a lot this year, too, because I did parts I've never done before. So every year, I've already got notes in my head. I'm going to do a debrief this weekend, and I'm telling you, I'm already going to make some changes for next year. And it's going to be wild. So I'm excited.
Yeah. And now, do you feel like, I know this conversation's taken place throughout the years, but do you feel like keeping it all the players in a one-day format, even with this expansion of 2 courses, do you feel like that's absolutely crucial, or could you see separating the days?
I have talked about separating the days now for about 2 years, maybe almost 3 years. I've pitched it. I would do, you know that I'm an educator now. I've got my master's in nursing education. So I always think, what do the people want? So I've always done surveys. So I didn't do a survey this year, but I did surveys all the years prior, and I asked for feedback. What would you think? Would you come back to our tournament if we did this? So I wanted to hear the voices of the people that came and played the event. And overwhelmingly, it was kind of like 50-50 if they would come back if it was a 2-day event. my ultimate goal, and this isn't okay, so the PLO was created to bring women together, to get them into the sport and have an awesome time. What it's kind of morphed into is we have this opportunity to build even bigger of an event. So I kind of had the idea, and I don't know if it'll happen or not, but eventually have an A tier portion of all women and then the B tier behind it, because a large part of our attendees don't have PDGA numbers. And I sure on earth do not want to shut them out. So I want them to be able to play. And so I don't want to make it just an A tier. It needs to be an A and a B. So your pros, your A, and then your B, the lower divisions, and opening those doors open to the people that don't have PDGA numbers. And then maybe with those opening arms, we'll get them to become addicted and keep coming back.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really love that you guys did, and this feeds into what I see at the Rocky Mountain Women's Championships, another just absolute champion of events, of women's events, is that kind of that staggered approach. They have pros ultimately playing 3 rounds over 3 days. They have some of the advanced divisions playing 2 days. Some divisions just play 1 day, and then the juniors, like you had this weekend, the juniors play just literally 1 round. And so, although that's a big chart and some math to keep track of, it gives you a lot of opportunities and possibly gets you to expand the field and to get even more creative with everything. Yeah, I think about how fun it is to be there and to have the picture in the morning, typically lunch, not necessarily this year with COVID, but lunch. The fact that many sponsors, including First Light and others, are providing plenty, and Paul, I know, providing a lot of beverages that anyone can partake in after the fact. It just, having so many people together in the same spot just feels like, it feels like almost a staple of the event. Like that's what needs to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we always have that clinic the day before, and then we have our glow dubs that night. I hope I didn't lose you again. I think you're frozen. So, can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Yeah. You froze there. And I was like, I don't think you can hear me.
Um, yeah. So I was just saying how, having all the people together, it is cool. The other,
Uh-oh. It happened again.
the flip side, right? Vision.
Oh no. Shit.
And worked with you guys on Friday night, right?
Sorry, I lost all of that, but I heard
Okay.
night, so I'm assuming we're talking about Kat doing her amazing clinic.
Yes, I apologize. Yes, I was just talking about you had the 2-time world champ, Kat, there, and she also put on a pretty successful clinic.
Yes, she did. We had an amazing turnout, and I wish I would have actually done a little survey there, because I'd really like to know how they knew to come, because we did it a bunch of different ways. I mean, I made sure our website was actually up to date, and I went and tackled a whole bunch of other things. So there was over 20 women there for that clinic, and it was amazing. So she is just a trooper. Like I said in the pod, the thing we did yesterday, my commentary. Sorry, it's been a long day. So yeah, after the commentary, I said that she did an amazing job, and she just answered so many questions. She's just a trooper. I'm so glad she came out for that.
Yeah, and ultimately, she didn't have a cat-like day for her on Saturday when she came out and played. However, having her in town, having a 2-time world champ, I know she's going to spend some time in, the Arizona area during the off season. It's so great that her and others, we have other superstars that have attended as well. So it's just great to have that interaction. And for a lot of these women, that might be the only time or one of the few times they can interact with someone like Kat or another top touring professional.
Oh yeah, 100%. So just being able to ask her those kinds of questions, is just, oh gosh, can you imagine just how much you learn from people like that? I mean, when I started playing disc golf, I was out in Red Mountain and I just happened to run into Pete Uliberry, and he turned to be my coach. So if I hadn't met him, I don't know what I'd be doing. Probably not this.
So let's backtrack for a minute. You've talked about your early PLO experiences. When was it that you got into golf, and what got you hooked on it?
Oh, geez. Well, I think I've been playing now for like 6.5 years, maybe. I can't do math. Like 6.5 years. And what got me into it? Well, I was teaching during the day at Fountain Hills High School, and I was working trauma ICU at night. So I was turning into a person who didn't really have a life. And I needed to be able to exercise. I needed to get outside. And I had sent Michael to go do something with my brother-in-law while we went and did a mani-pedi day, me and my sister and my mom. And it just happened to be that my brother-in-law, Justin Daglish, is an avid disc golfer and has been for 16 plus years at that time. So Michael got addicted. He said, we should go try this. And I said, great, I'm outside. I can do some bird watching on the side. You never know. And yeah, then that was it. And the next thing I know, I'm playing for Prodigy and then Infinite Disc and both. And I would say I'm in the pro division. I wouldn't know if I would say I'm professional, but I'm in the pro division. I do my best when I can.
And clearly you're busy, and disc golf far from your full-time career, as you said. You work within healthcare, and what does it look like for you to actually go and compete at events? How do you prioritize that versus your career and the other things that you have going on?
Right now, my career has taken over everything. Because of the nursing turnover, that's really what I do is I onboard all new grad nurses into the program for Honor Health. And we have about 51% of all of our nurses are new grads. So that's pretty big. So my life has literally been taken over by work, but I love doing it, and I want them to be successful in every aspect of their career. So really, that's a huge part of my focus right now, and it has been since January this year. So everything changed in January. But before that, I was able to focus more on disc golf. So things are changing. I'm trying to get back into it. We'll see how it goes. I've had to drop out of a bunch of tournaments this year due to work. But I'm playing when I can.
All right, and I know that last March actually is when I saw you playing in the Memorial, and then you graciously helped with the commentary. What would you say is? I think about your challenges and when you're deciding to play and not. What would you say are any of the obstacles or hurdles that you've heard about for women playing in the PLO? I mean, is it a good time of year? The location, the price, all those things. Has there been any real hurdles that you've heard about for anyone?
No, not really. Because it is the one-day event, people don't have to take as much time off to come out. We did push the PLO back one weekend this year due to you, actually, Terry. And it was you and Infinite Disc, so I wanted you both to be able to come out. So I was like, let's push it back a week, and we made it work. So that was my fear, though. Honestly, is if we get too late in the year in November, is it going to get into trouble competing against holidays? And then I don't want to compete against other people's tournaments that people like to go to. So those are always the fears that you have. You don't want to cause any problems with anybody else. You want everyone to be able to always play disc golf wherever they want to play. So it's really just finding those perfect little spots. And that's why Saturday has kind of been nice, because then you fly in Friday, you can relax a little bit, go to the clinic, and then you have your round Saturday, you go back home Sunday, and you don't really even miss a day of work. So for people like me, that's kind of a big deal, because I do take Friday off, and that's really the only day I can take off.
Yeah, and again, speaking to the pros and cons about how many days it is, and you guys obviously are in a great location when it comes to weather and being able to fly in if anybody needs to. Do you feel like the representation of women at the event is that every woman in Arizona that plays disc golf? I mean, are almost all of them there?
Pretty much. Yeah, because Tucson, they get a whole bus of women up, and then Flagstaff brings a bunch down. But then we also get a whole big group from Las Vegas as well, and California. So they bus out every single year. Hope it ain't freeze again. Can you hear me?
You did for a moment. I had asked if that was everyone, and you said pretty much,
Okay, yeah.
and then you
So we
elaborated a little bit.
have, I mean, the only reason why some women weren't able to come was, family or work. But otherwise, everyone tries to come together. So, yeah.
So maybe we touched on it briefly, but how in the world do you make PLO and the 16th annual next year? How do you make it better?
Yeah. So it's going to take some planning. I'm going to start earlier, is what I'm going to do. I'm pretty much going to start planning this weekend. So after I submit everything and wrap that up, I want to debrief and see where we could have been better. Where did we fall off? I think the more efficient and more, I'm a little crazy when it comes to planning. So it's part of my job. So I actually have to manage projects all the time. So this is just another project management situation. So if I can actually start that management earlier and make sure I have more people buy in and actually maintain and show up all the way throughout the entire planning project, then I know that we'll be more successful. Because there's a couple of things that did fall off the bandwagon and cause a lot of hiccups that were behind the scenes, but nobody knew it on the day of. But we had a lot of hiccups leading up into it, but we managed and we pulled together, and it was stressful and I lost sleep, but that's okay because I'm still here. I mean, I think it went really well, but it's going to go even better next year. I have so many ideas. It's not even funny. I don't know where the ideas are coming from, but they're coming. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, that's the sign of a good leader and just a good support staff is that, as you admit, there were a few hiccups, but by and large, most of them go unnoticed by the general public and by the competitors. And that means that you guys are just tackling it the way that you need to. And again, that's something to be said about your support staff. And speaking of that, with everything you just said, is it almost like a committee atmosphere? If somebody is thinking, hey, I would really like to get involved, what are some of the steps that they should take?
Well, every year I put out a volunteer questionnaire for them to fill out so that we know that they are interested. Some people will reach out to me privately, and that's fine too. I'll try to refer them back to that because, again, doing a project, you need to have everything funneled to the same spot. It's when people don't get funneled to the same spot, I miss you or I forget about you because I have a million things happening at the same time. So if you're like, well, how come I didn't hear back from you? I'm like, well, because you buried your email in the middle of 50 other emails that I swear I thought I got to, and somehow I missed this one person. I'm like, how's it even possible? So, I mean, it does, it just happens. So, I can't think. I actually had made somebody step up and he didn't even want to. He actually reached out to me. He's like, hey, I volunteered. Let me know if you need anything. I'm like, well, you're sponsored by Prodigy. So what do you think about being my volunteer coordinator? Surprise. So he was like, I guess. He's like, I've never done anything like that before. And he rocked it. So thanks for Tim for actually stepping up and doing that. And I swear he looked just as stressed as I did by the end of the day, but he did a wonderful job. He was running all over that place. And honestly, we wouldn't have been able to do it if he hadn't been there. That was huge.
Yeah. And again, when I think about the tournaments that I frequently see in Arizona, the Memorial naturally comes to mind. I think about all the hands on deck that are there. When it was all said and done, what did your staff look like? I mean, how many people were we talking with volunteers and people doing things up at Tournament Central and whatnot? I mean, rough estimate, how many people did you have there that day?
Probably 20 to 25. Because some of them ran off for lunch, so I didn't actually get to see them. And I was so busy at the beginning that with Tim manning all the volunteers, and we had their whole day planned for our volunteers. So I originally set the whole schedule, and then I let Tim just own it from there because I didn't want him to feel overwhelmed with doing this for the first time. So I did the whole thing, and I said, okay, guys, hi, this is me. Tim's your guy. And reply to him. So I just was like, there he is, go after that guy. So he was literally just getting everyone set up, training them at the hip, getting them out there. And I barely even had a chance to look to my left and see how he was doing. but he never needed me. He just took it. And we made little phone number lists on our lanyards for all of our volunteers. So they always had access to all of us if they needed answers to any questions. And he crushed it. So it wouldn't have been possible if he hadn't handled his volunteers, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was my first time, I think, really meeting Tim. And as you said, I saw him running around. And again, it's all about that delegation. Clearly, you're in control and you have a lot of things going on, but you can't handle every single component of it. And that was maybe one of my favorite parts, is seeing so many different people really just, so to speak, in their lane doing their thing to keep the whole train moving. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
A moment ago, you said Tim was owning it. Well, also who was owning it was Ohn herself. Some ridiculously good golf out there. And I know you didn't get a chance to really see any of it until you and I commentary last night. But any big takeaways from the weekend in terms of the golf, either what you saw or what you heard from others in the competitive golf?
I gotta say, whether it was a competition and those women were battling it out or not, there was nothing but smiles and happiness and women coming together. And that is honestly, that's all I gotta see. So even if I didn't get to see them compete, when they come back and they're smiling and laughing, and I have no idea who won yet, I'm just like, good for you, you guys made it. So nobody is like upset. I'm like, that's what makes me so happy. And you have a surprise person behind you, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's always creeping no matter what's happening. I see that guy creeping around. That's Johnny V. I couldn't get that light to stay on.
Yeah, well, my wife
So-
turned it off.
So yeah, you're right. The competitiveness that was out there, but yet so much fun was being had, and I thought that was really exciting as well. Also, we got to give a quick shout out. Now we got a strobe light going. Quick shout out, Stephanie Aikens, first ever career ace, and
Yeah.
she does it, gets the ace on what, hole number 10, 11?
10. Yep, 10.
10.
Because 11 was a
Yeah.
pop-up this year. Yep,
Yeah. So gets the ace on hole number 10. She was in the ace pool. I think it was good for $171.
Yeah.
And I know there was another ace. Do you recall who it was? They weren't in the ace pool though.
That would be Jeanette Short, literally the first in disc golf. Oh, it kills me. I was like, why, Jeanette? Why? $3. Come on, you're killing me. Yeah, so
Well,
I gave her a hard time. We gave her a specialty disc that we bought for the PLO. So we gave her one of those just as a friendly reminder. Hey, next time you would have had cash in your hand, but hey, take this disc on us because we love you anyway. So she'll be in the ace pot next year.
yeah, she will. I remembered hearing the story, and I know Jeanette. So yes, awesome, and a big shout out to her. I'd forgotten who had told me that they got the ace but weren't in it. So, but Stephanie's not complaining, as she took home the full 171. So very cool to see. And overall, like you said, everybody smile on their face, a good time. Is there anything that we didn't cover that recaps this event before I go ahead and talk to the FPO champion in a little bit? Is there anything else you can think of?
Gosh, there's so much that went on with this, and I know I probably didn't do justice to all of our sponsors, and I feel bad about that. But we had such amazing sponsors this year that were brand new. We got a lot of them in our footage yesterday, which is really exciting. We got them included in our players meeting, which is also exciting. So we did a lot of new things this year that we didn't do in the past. So I think we helped there. But that's one thing I already have as a goal, is to improve upon that, because I know that was a weakness I had this year. So I guess if anything, I'm humbling up and I'm realizing my errors, and I will do better next year.
Well, and hopefully everybody that was supportive and had any part of the event, wasn't just in it for the idea of the recognition, that they were supporting the greater good and the cause that is the PLO, and supporting just an incredible women's tournament. But like you said, there were a ton of sponsors and so many people. And I'll echo what you said. I know that an event of that nature can't happen without the support of not only the sponsors, but then your entire volunteer staff and your ride or dies that were right there with you all weekend long. Did your mom get home safely? I know she was working hard this weekend. She got home safely yesterday.
Oh my gosh, I worked my mom to the bone. She was a trooper. She did so much every single day. She literally just texted me today. She's like, "How was your day?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, I was so busy. I'm so tired." And she's like, "Yeah, I just sat here and did nothing." I was like, why couldn't I do that? I really didn't sit down all day for like 10 hours. So yeah, this is actually relaxing now. But
Well,
it was a trooper.
she certainly was, and it was awesome getting a chance to meet her. And I just keep thinking, when you have someone like her come and come into the fold of helping at the tournament, hopefully, whether she disc golfs or not, or the next volunteer disc golfs or not, it almost doesn't seem to matter if you're feeling those vibes. It's just a really great place to be, and it's great to be a part of it. So I think that will carry through.
And I saw Chris mention that Ricky Wysocki was there, and I kept giving him a hard time. I'm like, "You better be there to sign things for the ladies." I'm like, "The ladies will be so excited that you're there." I'm like, "You gotta be there." So it's pretty awesome that he was able to make it and take photos with people, sign some discs. It's just awesome experience to see not only our women coming there, but our big names of men coming there to support the women too. So PLO is not just for our opening ladies; they're also for our opening men to come out and support us ladies. So little
Yeah,
there.
I totally agree. And the more men we can get out there to participate. I always think when I go to some of these events, like, I hate seeing, like yourself almost, I hate any woman that doesn't have the opportunity to play because she's in fact working. And I know Sammy Keddington, for instance, is torn rife with that decision of playing or helping. We want to see as many women out competing as possible. So we just need a few more guys to step up and help, spread out that workload.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. Well, you can legitimately relax. I know your job's crazy, but now, outside of a few final details for the PDGA, it sounds like you can actually sit back and relax for a little bit and wait a day or two and then maybe write up your debrief for next year.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to start on Friday.
All right, Jamie, anything else you want to share with the world before I let you go here?
No, I just want to thank everyone for coming out. Really, that tournament isn't about any of us. It's all about everyone that's coming into the sport. So the more women that come out and play, man, come out and play. Keep coming. I can't wait for next year. And I think you froze again.
No, I'm just very stoic standing here. No, I'm all good. I heard you. Well, I want to say again, thank you for letting me be a little part of it, but also just congratulations to your whole team of people that step up year in and year out. You have a lot of longstanding supporters and a lot of fresh faces. And as that train continues to roll, I think it's just going to get stronger and stronger and faster and faster. And it's been awesome being along a little bit for this journey. And I look forward to the 16th annual PLO, hopefully early November 2022.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jamie. Well, I'm going to let you go. Hopefully, we're going to get a little montage of round one's footage. I walked around and got a number of throwers from both courses. That's going to be the next release. We've already got out the coverage for the lead FPO card. So hopefully people enjoy that. We like, share, subscribe, do all those things for it. And hopefully everybody can realize the fun that's had at the PLO. And again, one final time, thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out.
Of course. Thank you. Thanks for having me. All right. Have a good night.
Bye.
See ya. All right. Well, of course, Jamie Spencer, who has been working tirelessly on that event for many, many months. And one thing that we actually didn't even talk about that I already know that takes place is just a few weeks ago, they have a poker tournament where they have a buy-in. I believe Dan and Robin hosted it this year, and a bunch of people show up, play in a poker tournament. They have some prizes and whatnot, but then essentially it's a fundraiser for the PLO. as well. So it's really cool to see, and things that are done throughout the entire year. I know the Daisy Chains used to have one or more poker tournaments or a series of them so that people could participate and do the fundraising. So it's really cool to see, and they continue to do an amazing job with it. So yeah, and a big shout out as well. They had talked about having the date. It is usually typically the first weekend in November, and our good friend and original Smashy in Gary Oberenberger, he got married last weekend, which was in fact the reason that I wasn't going to be able to attend the PLO. And it sounds like there was a conflict at Infinite. So between those two, they actually were able to push it back. And I just can't be more thankful that they were so gracious in doing so, just so that I could get out there and be part of the event coverage to make it happen. So if you guys can hang with me for just a moment, I am going to have to do a little bit of magic here. We'll see. I'm going to try and reach out to Ohn Scoggins in just a few moments and see if that I can get her up and running. Now, her and I didn't get a chance to test earlier. Jamie and I had, so that's why it went relatively well. Johnny's actually in the house now as well, so he's hopefully got all our internet issues. Everyone's challenging your internet here, Johnny.
The Wi-Fi in this house is crap, and you're not hardwired in. So I did prioritize your MSI.
All right. Well, hopefully,
I pulled into the driveway.
Hopefully, we are good to go. So I'm going to send a message. So if you could just bear with me for a moment, I'm going to send a message over to Ohn and let her know she can join us here in just a few moments. Via browser, sorry. And with that, I think real quickly, I want to read off. I hope I didn't. It looks like I did close it, so I'm going to bring it back up. I want to read off a few of the details in terms of some of our champions from this weekend. As we're referencing, Ohn Scoggins, your winner, Holland Hanley, who we had just last week, finished runner-up. Jennifer Allen finished in third. Pro Masters Women, we see Lorena Dostal won. Dana Merritt won FP50. Lisa Reich won FP55. Lori Cloyes Chupa took FP60. Sarah Isaac in advanced women. Margaret Patterson in FA40. I'm going to start screwing up these abbreviations soon. Stephanie Rosdahl finished in FA50. Sandy Lee, FA55. Janice Jones, FA60. Kim Hudson, FA65. Catherine Gassaway, intermediate champion. Congrats to her. Teresa Suveas in Rec Women was your champion. Cassandra Collette in Novice Women. Kylie Kohut in Junior 15 and under. Riley Taylor in 12 and under. Ellen Hushagen, junior girls 10 and under. Zoe Thompson in junior girls 8, and junior girls 6 and under. Emily Scott was your participant, so and your competitor there. So congratulations to all of them. Like we said, just an incredible event throughout. Other big news, in other big news, I think yesterday was one of the biggest things that we saw hit the internet. An announcement that came from Gavin Rathbun that he, in fact, has left his sponsor in Discmania and has now moved into a sponsorship spot over at Dynamic Disc. So I believe there was an article written about it, but I think the long and short of it is that Gavin has ended his contract. Ooh, shed some light on the subject. Gavin has ended his contract negotiations or his contract, I should say, with Discmania, and has now moved into Dynamic Disc. So I guess I would ask you guys, if you're out there on the chat boards, wonder what people made of that. Johnny, I'll ask you quickly, not that they can probably hear you too much with our mic, but anything that you make of Gavin switching sponsorship?
I think having Gavin on Dynamic is a really good move. They've always kind of focused a lot on junior players and kind of working your way up. And it's a risky proposition because if you're not willing to outlay it after they get good, then you're going to lose a player. And we haven't really seen too much of their junior players so far step up into a premier position in the pro division. And they could still be out there, still do. This is a really good move for Dynamic to invest in a young player who's, I mean, he's coming off of an injury, but a younger player who we've seen perform well on the Pro Tour. And from you and I both know he's a good guy. He kind of fits in with Dynamic, I think, as just in general. Not that any of our players are like that guy's awful. He fits in with this team, but in general, I think Gavin is a really solid pickup for them, and I'll be curious to see how that translates into everything from his play to disc sales for DD, because we had the discussion a few weeks ago about whether or not you need a top player, and I always said I don't think you need one, but it really helps disc sales if you have one.
Yeah, certainly. And of course, a big conversation piece last week, I know we kind of talked about it quite a bit, was with Eric Oakley leaving, where Eric is shopping right now, and what
Infinite.
that means.
He's going Infinite. We all know it. There's been leaks on the internet.
Oh, well, there's been leaks of a lot of things, and there's been some things that I've read that are so incredibly spot on, I believe, and some things that couldn't be
that's the
any
internet.
dumber. I know that's. I guess that overall is a great synopsis of the internet. But yeah, so I guess we'll see as to what that's going to mean, for more players. I know just today I saw Dave McCormick make a post somewhere that had, very much said, hey, all of our players, he thinks we're going to see a lot more of our players move into an open bag. Obviously, his nephew, Nico, was someone that has kind of, has commonly gone back to that, anytime he's in between sponsors, and he's thrown a little bit of everything. Drew Gibson, namely the largest that we've seen do that in the last few years. I don't agree that it's going to be a trend. Players are going to want their poster children. They're going to want representatives and genuine ambassadors of the brand. And I don't think that's, I think certain styles of players and certain caliber of players are gonna probably more commonly transition into that, and then find a brand like Infinite or someone else to support them. I don't think we're necessarily going to see a huge momentum shift of people doing that.
Will the manufacturer start to focus on larger players and leave some of the
mid-tier players behind? Yeah,
your
maybe
10, 20 to 1,000 rated for, we'll say, like other sponsors, your Infinite, your OTB, or will those continue to be supplementary sponsors? Is that
sure? We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. Sponsors to the disc manufacturers. This is, I think we're kind of at a crossroads to really see if that happens, or will a reseller pick up a big player, like a truly top tier player, away from a disc manufacturer. I think that the disc manufacturers still hold a lot of the weight because they can make the discs, your custom lines, your custom discs, not just like because from what we've seen, none of the resellers, when they have their own lines, none of them are making their own discs yet. Because once they do that, they become a manufacturer.
Exactly.
So I don't know what we're going to see, but I don't think there's going to be a big move toward bags in the next couple of years.
Okay. Well, I think with that being said, I'm pretty sure that we have, in fact, Ohn Scoggins. She seems to be getting logged in and ready to go. And I'm going to take a big chance on just clicking this button and hoping that it works. I think she's ready, and we're going to find out one way or another. So with that, we need Ohn Scoggins. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, I can't hear you, Ohn. I'm not sure.
Oh, really?
It's something on your end. Oh, no, it's on my end. Perfect. You there?
No?
I hear you. I hear you.
Good.
Hi, welcome. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
I am so good. Thank you. Thanks for joining. It's kind of a unique night. Normally it's myself and Johnny that are doing the podcast, but Johnny had flown in late, so you're just getting me tonight. I hope you're okay with that.
Oh, absolutely good.
All right, so
I'll step in.
let's start with the basics. This weekend, incredible performance. You played very well over at the PLO, the Phoenix Ladies Open. Did you know could you feel that you were playing good? Do you feel like you played well?
Yeah. First, the day before I practiced, I was like not practice good not at all, and I just probably like what 3-4 downs, and I was like, with 3-4 downs, it's not gonna win on this tournament. And then the day is coming. I just feel like nervous about it. Like, you know what? I'm not practiced good yesterday, but I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. I just told myself I'm just gonna go for it, and then just having fun, and let's see what I can do. So, yep.
So what wasn't feeling good during your practice? Was there something? Were you not driving well? Were you not putting well? Like, what wasn't feeling good?
Yeah, because the day before was kind of windy. It's windy, and then I just feel like my sidearm just flip over the place. My backhand, it's just not go with the place I want, and the putting absolutely insane. But we very lucky on Saturday was so calm and no wind, and then I was totally surprised. Even the second round is with so dead, like no wind, and that's why my game is totally different. And then I feel like the more I play, the more confident I build, the more I make the putts. Sometimes my driving was not good, but I save a lot of par, and then the hole is short enough, and I able to make a putt and make birdie. So yeah, I'm very happy with the result.
Yeah, it was so much fun to watch, and you performed so well. I would have never guessed that you didn't feel like you were all ready to go from the day before. Everything looked good. This isn't the first time you've won this tournament, though, is it?
No, I won before. God, so many years ago. On that time I remember was like Zoe, and then Kat was there also, and then I have Ricky Wasaki was carrying my bag. That year I was winning, and then this is I think my second year winning or third, probably two or three times. But this year is big because we have 20 women. We have a lot of good players. Kat was there, Jane, and then my friend Holleen, and a lot of girl out there. Okay, they're new, but their game is so good. That's why I talk with myself. I cannot do any mistake out there. I have to make the putt, and cannot make bulky mat. So the hole is very dangerous. I just tell myself to just take a 3 and walk away. Just try to play a smart game out there.
Yeah, and real quick, I was just clicking on a few specifics from the PDGA. It was 2015 that you won the tournament. I think that was your first time playing there. In 2016, you took second place in the tournament. 2019, you took third place. And ultimately there was not an event last year. So yeah, so you've had first, a second, a third. Now you won it again this year. What is it when you look at the other competitors that you're seeing? Most of them are a little bit newer, and I think of Jill, who you played with. I think of Holland that you played with. What do you see in new players in terms of, you just said how good they are. What kind of things do you see in the new good players that are coming and starting to play?
They have passion. They have passion. I can tell they practice hard. They have big goal with the disc golf. They want to be top. So they throw so far. They're putting good, and they just need to have more experience. That's why when I see them, those new girls, they have everything we have except not much experience. That's why you're gonna see them out there in the future. Like, who knows, maybe one of them might be world champion in the future. Because when I look at them, it reminds me of myself. How hungry you want to be good player. How hungry you want to be win big tournament. And I can see it in their eyes. So that's why.
What's your path? And what I mean by that is disc golf full-time touring. Is that the plan for 2022?
Absolutely, yes. Yes. I have planned to tour more next year, but I'm gonna pick which one I really want to go. Maybe pick the big one. Maybe 80% or 90% of Pro Tour Championship, and then national or whatever out there. Cut a lot of C tier or B tier, or even sometimes A tier. So just focus on the big tournament, and it's gonna be a lot of another busy year for me. I'm looking for like fly a lot to another state. Like a lot of people see me already. Like sometimes I finish like Waco, and then the next day they see me in another state because I'm flying to another tournament. So yeah, it's gonna be like that next year also.
I was going to say almost most of our top players are either buying vans or have some kind of car or something like that, and that's how they're touring around. Are you just not a van person, or you don't want to do that, or not comfortable, or what is it about? I mean, I know flying's easier, but some people say it's not, because then you don't have all your stuff with you.
Sorry. To be honest, I love to have a van because I see all my girlfriend, they have van, and then they have a lot of fun. But the difference is they have partner go with them. They have boyfriend, friends, and it's different situation because my husband, he working in Los Angeles, and it's really not good for him to go with me with the van and all over the place because he have work over here. And then I'm not comfortable to just go in the van by myself because I'm just little woman, Even if thing happen in the middle of the road, I cannot even help myself, except I have, what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but,
no, I hear you.
Yeah, so I think it's very complicated with traveling, and I don't have my husband who full-time go with me. If in the future when his job is getting more relaxed, and yeah, of course I would love to, because I love van, I love camping. I love something like that. It's fun for me. So hopefully in the future we can figure it out. But right now it's my husband first, and we'll see.
Well, and like you just said, with flying to events, you're probably a little bit more comfortable when you get there because you're not in a car for 8 or 10 or 12 hours and traveling all around the country. I know it's more expensive to fly, but hopefully you're a little bit more refreshed because you're able to fly around. Is there any event that you're dead set on that you're super excited to make sure to get to next year?
First of all, Las Vegas, and then Texas Championship, Waco, and of course, the end of the year, the tournament I'm looking for is Pro Tour Championship, and then USWDGC, Maple Hill, those things. Leadstone is on my mind all time, those things. But I'm so excited because hopefully next year, like I heard like very good news, like, they're gonna make the tournament is different week because I am 40 years old. So sometimes they have Pro Master World Championship at the same weekend at Leadstone. But I heard next year they're gonna do different. What kind is that? Like PDJ work with a Pro Tour or something like that, right? That's what I heard. And then they're not gonna make the same weekend, same weekend. So I'm very exciting. So I'm probably have to be play more than this year, because this year I play over 32. So next year I'm looking for, who knows, 35, 36, who knows? But anyway, so I'm very exciting for a lot of tournament, so cannot wait.
That's awesome. What is the tournament that you haven't played that you're most looking forward to? Like a new one that you've never played?
So that is gonna be Jonesboro,
Okay.
and then the European over there, and then European, and then Japan Open.
Okay.
I think a lot of people think like me. A lot of people want to go there. A lot of people, well, Jonesboro, I can do it easily, but European and then Japan, depend on the COVID thing, and then you never know. That's in my dream. Maybe Samui, like the tournament in Thailand.
Koh Samui.
Koh Samui.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm hoping to go myself. It sounds like a few
Right?
other people. It
Right,
sounds
it's
like
so much fun.
Were you talking to Jen Allen? Because she said she wants to go now too.
OMG! All right, if we can make schedule the same, I think why not? I think it's gonna be so much fun out there, I believe.
Okay. Well, that's all starting, and it's crazy to think that's just a couple months away. That's the end of January and the first week of February.
Ooh.
So you're in the LA area, and is it fair to say you don't really have an off season? You're not slowing down, are you?
Yeah, I believe so, because my area you can play disc golf every day. Even in the winter time, it's no snow. It's still hot in the daytime. And then raining season, we probably have 5 or 10 days the whole year raining. And it's just so little. You can still play in the rain. So that's why I see a lot of big pro, they on the off season, they come to California and then still practice, here and there. So yeah, I think I'm very lucky to live over here, because I still can play, and then we still have tournament. Well, don't forget Paul McBath. He live here too, right? So that's why he's a world champion. Because he play every day. It's really 365 days a year. So
Oh, okay. I guess you could maybe claim that. Looking back on 2021, and I know you've got a couple events yet, maybe, but looking back on this year, what was your favorite memory from a tournament? What sticks out at you?
Wow, that's a good question. Of course, gonna be. You know what? Because I don't have much win in the big tournament, because everybody know I cannot throw far. But I come very close in 2 or 3 times to win some big tournament. But my memory, I have 3. I have second place Wago, and then 6th place at WDGC, and then first place at World Master Championship. So I really love 3 of them, because I feel like I'm pretty close, to win. Well, US Pro Master, of course, I win, but Wago and then WDGC, or even some tournament, I was close by and I just not there yet, So, but that is my three amazing moment for me.
Yeah, I'm looking at, of course, yeah, as you said, the Pro Masters World Championships. That was back in August, and like you were mentioning, that conflicted with the Ledgestone weekend. But if you're gonna miss Ledgestone, I guess winning a Worlds is worth it for you. So that was pretty incredible. When it was all said and done, you've already got 35. It's listed as 35 tournaments. And I guess there's probably a couple putting competitions or edge and skill shot. So, and a league or two. But man, you've been playing a ton. Do you get sore, tired, worn out, exhausted? I mean, and fatigued? Do you get any of that?
All of them. I got all of them, but different time, different moment, and different tournament. Sometimes we have some down moments, sometimes we have some happy, some tired, some not. But my heart is just love this golf so much. Even on that point, the next day, my heart just telling me, "Come on, Owen, you can do it. Let's keep moving." It's always like that. Sometimes it's just like, "Oh my God, I'm so tired. I cannot. I don't think I can do it anymore." And then the next day, it's just my brain is just like, "Oh yeah, this is the new day. Let's go, let's go." So it just keep me moving, and then also I see my friend out there, my disc golf friend, and then I look at them, they're so happy, they're refreshing. I'm like, oh yes, come on, they all go through with me. They all probably feel the same. I'm tired here and there, but they look happy still. Why not me also? So yeah.
Yeah, you have plenty of fun out there. Did you get a chance? I know I just released it. Will you go watch the footage of you winning this weekend? Will you watch that or no?
Oh yes, of course. You already released? You already?
Yeah, it's out.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna share the links to all my fans.
Okay.
Even fan or no fan, ladies and gentlemen, everyone have to watch this. I'm gonna put on my IG. I didn't know. You didn't even tell me you're gonna show it to me.
Yes, it's I released it today. I got it all edited, and then Jamie and I, who I had on, obviously our TD, she was able to jump on a microphone, and we did the commentary last night. And then today I released the whole thing, both the front and the back of the final round, so the whole world can see it. And
Oh
go out and
yes,
watch.
yes. I'm gonna put on my IG, and then I'm gonna spread out. People are gonna know more, and I'm going to watch it. And I already subscribed to you, so
Okay. Now,
I might subscribe. I might comment something. Who knows? Or maybe like spy people.
yes,
You never know.
I'm gonna put you in charge of recruiting more subscribers. We need more.
Yes, yes.
Somebody asked on the board, because they saw the footage already, so you're gonna have to go watch it. But somebody asked on the board if you got to your family party in time on Saturday night. Did you get there in time?
Yes, yes, I do. I go home, I shower fast, and I dress up, and then we going, because the party we arrived there like 7 or something like that, and it was tons of people, a lot of good food, and a lot of drinks. So you know what I'm saying? So we just kind of eat a lot and drink sometimes. Oh well, I cannot lie. Of course, I'm drinking a little bit because I want to celebrate myself too. But of course, I'm not driving home because my uncle and my aunt were driving home, so we can drink a little bit. Yeah, it's perfect time. Thank you.
You also, and I don't know if we mentioned this in the coverage, but when everybody was done, you had to get to your party, but then you also offered to take Holland over to the airport. She flew out that same night. She flew in on Friday and flew right back out on Saturday, which is crazy. She picks up second place, and now she's someone that you compete with quite a bit these days, isn't she?
Yeah, because we are friends. Because she live not far from my area. We always play the same tournament. We always see each other every tournament in my logo. So she's one of my friends, and that's why whatever is my favorite, I can ask her, and then her favorite, she can ask me. And we have to help each other out. Whatever I can help, I help. Doesn't matter, lose, win. We not think about it, because when you're friends, you're willing to help your friend. That's why I have no problem to send her, and I think she's safe home, and she go practice the next day. So, and I'm so proud of her. She played amazing, and of course my Jen, she took solo third, and I'm so proud of both of them. So yeah,
it was a lot of fun. And then also, was that your first time playing with Jill? Jill Norwood?
yes.
The card. talk about how good she is. That was something else I wanted to mention tonight in that I really love being at these events, but I get to meet some of our new up and coming players. I met Holland at the beginning of the year, and she's turned into an amazing, player and competitor. But then talk about how good Jill is too.
Oh my God. Okay, here's the thing. Her backhand is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
She throws so far. She throws way farther than me. Of course, everybody throws way farther than me. But she just throws so far, and her putting is good. Her side arm is kind of like, she's still learn here and there. But she have everything. She has so much fun to play with. Very, what do you call? Very sweet person.
Yes.
So she have everything. Yeah, she have everything. She have a game on. She have a good heart. And she's young, so we're gonna see her a lot in the future. And I was like talk with her like 3-4 days ago. We kind of text like, what, I say like, oh, I'm hope I can play with you in the future because I have so much fun with all my girl. And Jill is the first time I play with her, and I feel like that is not gonna be my last time. It's gonna be more and more in the future. So Jill, keep practice. You're gonna be world champion.
She's certainly just incredible, and I wanted to say that as well, that she, for a player that's only been around for a couple of years, I believe she just has 2 years listed under, I think a couple of years listed under PDGA stats. She lives down in Maricopa, and I'm really excited to see what she's going to do with her career as well. So
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Is there, and I know I've asked you this at other press conferences, but what makes your decision for you to play FPO versus FP40 at a tournament? Is it what makes your decision on any weekend?
So for this tournament,
or any tournament,
or anything?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, because I just feel like a lot of FPO, I still can complete with them. That's why I decided to play a lot of time is normal FPO, and then for MPO, APO 40. So I just gonna pick. I like to go with the big one, like a World, US Master, or it have to be major, and then I can jump to APO 40. But otherwise, I just gonna play a normal because I just feel like right now, normal APO is my place to be, not 40, because the 40 we don't have much competitor, and I have a high chance to be top 5 every time. So until maybe Sarah come or everyone who like turn 40 and step up to a 40 more, and then maybe in the future I might play 50-50, but right now it's gonna be like 99% APO normal, not 40. So
Okay, so basically, if it's a major,
yes,
you'll probably play in the FP40, but every other event you'll play in.
yes,
So,
that's right.
That's incredibly. I mean, obviously, that's. I was gonna say brave. Brave's not the word I'm looking for, but that's a bold move. Going and playing against the best of the best. Some of these women.
Yes.
I don't want to let you in on a secret, but some of these women are like half your age, and you're still out there whooping them.
I know some of them like, like 18, 19, 20, 23, 24, 25. I'm like, what I have done here? I'm like 40. But anyway, so hey.
Okay.
I still look young.
I love it.
Not too old. So I mean, it's just so much fun for me to just play with them, because I have a lot of friends out there, and I have a great time to play with them. It's for me, it's just more. It's way harder, that's for sure. And I have little chance to win some big tournament, but I'm just gonna keep trying, and doesn't matter I win or not, as long as I can make top 10 or top 6, top 8, and I'll be happy and so proud of myself, because I know those girls is so good. I cannot even say. I think good is not good enough. I think great or amazing. That's how their skill is. Yeah, so you just have to keep practice and try to keep up with them.
So what is it about your outlook, or what? How do you have so much fun? I guess that's what I'm trying to ask. Is because every single tournament, you seem to have more fun than any other woman at the event, whether you're winning or not. Where does that mentality come from? How are you having more fun than everyone else?
Well, it's very simple. You have to have fun to become a fun person. Like, I always happy. I'm a happy person. I married with my husband, who is so great to me, respect me, love me, support me. I have a great family. All of them in Laos, by the way. So I love them. For me, I have everything. I'm not rich. I'm not poor. I'm just normal, simple, but I just have everything I want in my life. Love, good family, good friend. That's why in my heart it's just all about happy, and I just want to smiling, especially when I play my game I love, hang out with the people I love, It's for me that's all the smiling is come out from my heart, because you can here's the thing, you cannot lie. If you just try to fake to smiling, it's not gonna happen, because this smiling is from my heart, because I just happy. That's why.
All right. So I have to ask though, and that's all incredible and beautiful, and it's amazing that you feel so fulfilled in every way.
Yeah, I feel blessed. Yeah.
Tell me one time this year where you got mad, when you got really, and it could have been at yourself or someone else or something, but give me one time where Ohn wasn't happy. Give me one time.
One time I was unhappy. Man, I try to think. It's not like mad, but I just kind of disappointed myself at US Master.
Okay.
I mad with myself because I was moved wrong. I tried to putt on round 2 and hole 4 or 5, and then I just moved wrong. I should like careful, and then I hurt myself. I have what's that called? I hurt my back so bad, like a what's that called? That word?
Like a hernia or a slip disc or something?
Sciatic nerve.
Sciatic nerve. Okay.
Yeah. I have sciatic nerve, and I know right away. I was like, man, what have I done to myself in the major tournament? And I have like 50. I have a 50% chance to win, or maybe a little bit higher. And I know I have chance to win. And I just mad with myself because I should be careful of what I move, and that caused me to lose the whole tournament. But I'm very happy with Jen because she's played phenomenal whole week. But that's probably the moment I mad with myself, like, man, what have I done? I should be more careful. So that's it. That one.
Okay. I mean, if you have to think that hard about the one time you got mad this year, again, you had a pretty good year, and that says everything about your outlook and your positivity, which I absolutely love. Thinking about 2022, is it an assumption that you're going to remain with Innova, or are there talks? Do you have a contract? Where does that stand right now?
Well, I guess it's not secret anymore. I'm gonna tell you guys first. I'm going to be with Innova. Wait. Where is it? I have to show you guys. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you are returning.
So.
Yeah, you are staying with Innova. And is that a 1-year deal? Do you or do you sign multiple years with them?
So far I signed 1 year. And then see what you can do for the company, what the company can do for you. And then we'll see. But so far so good with Innova. They treat me very good, and then I just gonna stay with them until if anything change. Who knows in the future? But right now, I'm just happy with them. Yes.
Awesome. If there were 100 other companies listening right now that aren't, but there were 100 other companies listening, what other kind of sponsorships would you be interested in for products or for support? What other types of things would you be interested in getting sponsored for that aren't discs?
Yeah. So first has to be Innova for me, and then second is gonna be this crap.
No, not this.
Other thing.
Shoe or this.
Like shoes or apparel or bags or anything else. What would be something else that you would, if somebody called you and said, "Hey, Ohn, we want to sponsor you," and you said, "Oh, great, I need blank," what would that be?
Okay. Well, you know what? Shoes for sure, because I burn my shoes a lot, at least like 4 pair a year. And I spend a lot of money with that. So shoes, and then I want Suga to sponsor me. Please, if you guys listen, I want Suga, because I want something like card to carry on.
Okay.
Sometimes I hurt my back. My back is very heavy. So I want card to just drag along, so, and then that, and then probably Adidas, Nike, who knows? But I know those guys, they just sponsor like big. So we just not there yet, but I think a lot of us dream about it. And then, I mean, you know what? I'm just kind of like whatever. I'm happy with even small company to just sponsor me, because even small, but if a lot of company help, I'm just gonna reach my goal, like little here, help here and there. And then from little, it's gonna be bigger. So.
Well, yeah. And right now we have so many different companies that want to sponsor and support players. There's towel companies, we have shoe companies, we have the dry, some kind of a birdie bag or whale sack companies, bag companies, cart companies, apparel, and everything that you were saying, Nike branded or something else, apparel companies. There's so many sunglass sponsors. I know I've seen you sport some sunglasses.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Come on. So, I mean, there's, all of those things, somebody could be potentially sponsoring you. So I don't know. I'd talk to that agent. Is Justin there, your agent? I think we need to talk to him.
Yeah, he's behind me. He listened to us and he just have a big smile on his face. Hey, you know what? I take everything small, big. Hook me up, please. I'm open mind.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
All right, Ohn. Well, is there anything else you need to talk about or cover? I mean, I want to make sure you get a chance to go watch your coverage of your win this weekend. But is there anything else we need to talk about?
Well, like I said, I just want to thank you, my sponsor, of course, number one, like Innova, and thank you, my fan, my friend, my family, who was behind my successful, and thank you all my sponsor. And and then also I want to talk with the new generation who never know this game before. If you find out this game, please try it. It will never disappoint you, this game. First, it's gonna be like, but when you try 4 or 5 times, you cannot go back when you hook up this. And of course, go watch the Disc Golf Guy, especially Phoenix Lady Open. Everyone have to watch. He do a good job. So me too. I'm gonna watch very soon now.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Everybody knows you're one of the most fun-loving people on the course. I put some of that into the video, and it's when people are around you, it's infectious, and everybody has a good time because you're so happy. I think you were even told you had to quiet down. You were having too much of a good time.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to see you at all the different events, and I love watching you play well and showing all these younger players that that you know how to get it done and drive for show and putt for dough. It seems to work for you. So, Ohn, I want to say thank you. Justin, I know you're there. Thank you, buddy. Love you too.
Yeah, thank you, Terry.
And
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you at one of the next events coming up.
I want to thank you so much, Terry, for your hard work and put the disc golf to the people out there to see it and show them what is look like disc golf, So, I mean, you work hard, you deserve a lot of subscribe. Come on, people, subscribe him and make a like. So Terry, he working hard, so come on, you have to do it. If you don't do it now. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm going to hire you to be my hype woman so that you can and spread that love and positivity. Ohn, Justin, thank you guys so much. Again, congratulations on a great weekend. I hope millions of people go out and watch how you perform this weekend. I want to make a highlight video because your round was that good. I think I might even put together a special highlight video as well.
Thank you.
Because you just killed it and it was so awesome to watch. So congrats yet again. And hopefully I'll see you sometime in the next month or two.
All right. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for having me.
Take care. Bye. See you guys. Good night. All right. There we have it. Ohn Scoggins, along with her husband, Justin. And as she just said, so incredibly infectious, the love and the joy that she spreads around on the course week in and week out. I've noticed every single time you go anywhere, you see that everyone around Ohn is laughing. And it's usually a story that she's telling, or just as she did here on the show tonight, just she keeps it real. She holds nothing back and will tell you exactly how she's feeling and or how things should be. And you got to love that absolute just raw emotion and vulnerability. It's absolutely crazy. So it's so good to have her. I just really quickly, I feel like there was some other news that took place. There was. The other big news, before I maybe cut into an after show, the other big news was the fact that we saw the PDGA Major, in fact, switch things up and go to a stroke play format for the duration of the major. And that was, of course, a big change. I know we had Robert Leonard on way back in the day when it was initially talked about. And then it sounds like the PDGA essentially got together, had a conversation along with the Players Committee and a few other people, and then broke it down and said, hey, we like the idea or the concept, but not necessarily for a major. And so that will be April 14th through the 17th. And the PDGA Majors Committee just made that announcement a couple days ago. Well, it looks like yesterday for the 2022 Champions Cup. So board of directors approved it. There's a whole article. In fact, I'm going to link to it right now on the chat board. So if you didn't see it, it is out there. And Ray, puts a great comment out on the board. He says, we hear you, the PDGA saying that. And it does speak volumes about, I feel like I have a mixed reaction to it because in some ways it's great because they say we hear you and we're going to take the advice or we're going to take some feedback and we're going to reanalyze this. It also, on the flip side, kind of feeds into the thing, well, if we complain loud enough and long enough, we may get things our way or we may get things changed. And sometimes that can be great. Clearly change has to come from somewhere, but it was also an opportunity to have a very different event, to have something, out of the box that was going to be added as a new major. And I can understand both the traditional approach to how we're going to go out and play a major, but I also think we've had other events that were deemed majors. We had the world doubles, or not world doubles, the doubles considered a major for a number of years. Now, some would classify it or as an XM or whatever, but we've seen other events and look at, again, you always could go back to the USDGC and say that format is anything but standard.
Wasn't the Players' Cup a master or a major way back when, and that wasn't stroke play?
Yeah, and at one point, exactly, the Players' Cup was, a match play event, and in how they did it. And I think for 1 year it was a major. We've also had a major in Australia prior to, I would go ahead and say prior to it being seriously vetted and working itself up through the ranks of being a major. So I don't, as much as I am usually a traditionalist at heart, I also feel like there's been plenty of other precedent for us to try other wacky or crazy or unique things as well. And I understand the arguments from both sides. I'm not going to fight the idea that this has been changed to this. It does make sense. But I also had a little bit of excitement for something that was going to be kind of a unique or a crazy format. Again, as long as everybody knew it going into it, then I was totally fine with the way it happened. It's not like, when they knew a year and a half ago that was going to be the format. That's very different than, say, showing up that week and be like, oh, hey guys, guess what? This is how it's going to go down. So
I think every
either way,
major should be a surprise format. When you show up, they draw something out of a hat.
Yeah, just like
this
Simon's
round
wheel.
is-
Yeah, like I think that's how Simon did a few of his vlogs. He would just show up to the course, spin a wheel, and then pick what he had to do out of there, kind of as if you were playing a ripped card or something. So yeah, just show up and have it played differently every single day. So the other quick thing that I'll talk about as well, thanks to Ray as the reminder, it'll be relatively brief from my perspective. I was at the Phoenix Ladies Open, and Sunday everybody was kind of decompressing, and I wasn't in a position or a place. Full disclosure, I was at Duke's actually to watch the ESPN2 broadcast of the disc golf Pro Tour. I'll call it a recap, and even I'll be the first to admit I was under the wrong impression. I even kind of put it out on Facebook as, hey, here's a recap of the disc golf Pro Tour championships, and by all accounts it sounds like it was not that. It was definitely a recap of a number of the late season events, and then it brought you into the Pro Tour championships. And I'm only repeating what I've read, and that was news to me, and I'm right, wrong, and different. I had no idea that was going to be the format of the show. There's plenty of things I have no idea about, of course, but that was one of them that I had no idea about that. The only thing I really learned from reviews and whatnot was that Reddit hated it. And that I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't really care. No, I absolutely don't care.
I saw a few people that did like it on Reddit. They
seem to be outnumbered, seemingly, though.
Sure,
right?
but honestly, I didn't see a lot of reaction to it at all. Like it felt like it really went under the radar in general, and that the small thread of people that did see it on Reddit, I would say it was definitely 80-20. 80% of the people did not like it.
Yeah.
20% of the people did. It really depends what I think your perception going into it was. If you're expecting shot by shot,
yeah, you were wildly
you were
disappointed.
extremely. And I'll be honest, I don't think you're ever going to see that on ESPN.
I don't think you will either. It'll always be some form of an abridged or recap, highlight, whatever the situation. We're just never going to see it, as Johnny just said, to give you every single shot in a post-production format. And quite frankly, I've said this for not quite 10 years, but I've said this for a long time. I don't give a crap about someone throwing a 112-foot approach shot. It's just now, did they hit the basket in a rolled OB? Of course, then it's significant. But when stuff like that happens, I've always been blown away that shot by shot coverage and showing every single shot of every single hole. Even though I produce that content, I am still shocked 7 or 8 years later that is so wildly sought after. Like that is just so many people have continued to try unique perspectives and variations and or different styles of coverage or highlights, and they always get beat down by, I want shot by shot. And it blows my mind. It really does. I don't, and clearly I'm in a minority there. and I produce content that people want to watch, or as best as I can. It's surprising, and I don't know if we'll ever get out of that. And I've beat this drum for years. It's hilarious to me how many people say we need more introspective pieces, we need more personal pieces, we need more behind the scenes, we need more to get to know these players so you can love or hate them, you can become fans of them. We hear that damn near every single day, and then stuff like that gets produced and it's wildly underwatched. Underwatched, I guess, being a subjective term. It's wildly less popular, no matter how good it's been. I've seen so many amazing pieces, whether it's from our Pro Tour productions or a Jomez production. I love those pieces. I think they're incredible. And yet they are wildly I think they just underperform, again, if I'm just throwing out a term. So that's again, you can love or hate it. I can't speak too much of it. I just saw what the internet had said. I heard that there was, the narration. Some people had wondered if that was almost all too serious. I can't make. So, I literally read on Reddit someone saying that just the production was crap, essentially, and all I thought is there is a professional team that has worked with and for ESPN that assembles that puts all that together, because another term was thrown together, that it was worked on for dozens of hours by very established professionals, and you want to tell me that it was crap and it was thrown together. It just right there clearly tells me you really have no idea what you're talking about. You may not like it, and that's fine. But to say that it was, hastily edited or thrown together couldn't be any more inaccurate. It couldn't be. And I know some of the editors, and I know some of the true professionals that work on ESPN pieces, that work on, award-winning pieces, and you're just so wildly ignorant if you think that it wasn't put together by a professional. You can dislike it, but yeah, you don't know what you're talking about otherwise. So that's what I see out here on the board. I'm just going to take a quick look. Of course, I haven't been able to pay quite as much attention to it as normal. Tim said it was more of a documentary than coverage, which, again, if you went into it with the wrong idea, I can understand being a little frustrated or surprised or disappointed. I can understand that. I don't know how it was really promised to anyone, so that's why I think it's funny that everyone has this assumption about, a shot-by-shot coverage taking place. That clearly wasn't the game plan that they had put together for it. Someone, Galactic Conqueror, says, I'm not watching the Tom Brady thing. Didn't watch The Last Dance either, but I watch every Golden State Warriors game, which is so incredibly opposite. Like, I was a fringe basketball fan, and yet enjoyed every second of The Last Dance. And the Tom Brady thing, same thing. I learned so much about him, and you can love or hate him on the field, but the work, the dedication, that was such an interesting way to pull back the curtain and see so much about one of the greatest of all time and everything that went into that piece. So it's funny. We're clearly on opposite ends of the spectrum there. And if I'm being honest, I'm not watching Paul McBeth play against Joey Tamale in the new course that they put in Mexico. The foundation's great. I don't really care about watching Paul play against Joey, and I like both of those guys. I don't care about watching them play against each other in an exhibition round. So anyway, I guess it's all about preferences, perspective, what you're trying to gain or not. But those are some of the things that I think came back. Tommy Yu says the narrator dude on the ESPN broadcast was pretty good. So what are you thinking, Johnny? Should I stand down for a moment and then we have an awkward after show, not awkward, have an after show.
I want an awkward after show, please.
I mean, I guess I'm thinking I would turn the camera maybe a little, and then we'd share a microphone.
Yeah, whatever.
If you want to do that.
I can
All
do
right.
that.
So here's what I'm going to do, because this stuff is fancy and I have to use the restroom anyway. So it works out perfect. I'm going to stand down just for a moment. This will give us a quick break in our audio podcast here for the after show. But we'll come back, and Johnny and I will break down a few more things that are going on. Overall, it might be a short night, but we'll break stuff down. So with that, I want to thank all of you for chugging along here tonight as best as we could. I want to thank Jamie Spencer, not only for joining tonight, but then on very short or almost no notice, joining me to do the commentary last night for the PLO, and then also her and her entire staff and team that were all part of the PLO. There's so many people, I couldn't even thank them all. Even if I had a list in front of me, I couldn't thank them all. But, you know, the guys at First Light stick out as always, trying to have my back. I appreciate it. Everyone on the PLO staff, along with Jamie and Tanya and everyone else. It was Chris Cobb, who's out here, we know, just all of you, so incredible. Really, really appreciate it. And then, of course, we got to thank our champion, Ohn Scoggins. I don't think we've had Ohn before.
We haven't.
That's crazy. So it's the only time we've had her.
The only time.
Hey-o.
we've had her. I know, which is unfortunate, because I think she might be my favorite female pro player, and I did not get a chance to interview with her.
Well, that's as we said, absolutely infectious. So thank you to Ohn. Congratulations on her incredible play, and glad she could join us, and looking forward to seeing her more and what she's going to do in 2022 and beyond. So I'm the disc golf guy, Terry Miller. I'm going to log off for just a few moments. We're going to be back with you guys. Johnny V will officially join back in for the after show, and then we'll talk about other random things that are going on. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Maybe. Click. Hide. The mic's still hot, Johnny.
Okay, so I shouldn't talk about all the secrets.
You can do what you want, but I'll be right back.
Sure, I'll reposition the mic so it is in the center of us, where it normally is not. So to everyone out there, I hope you guys are having a great night. I flew in from Houston tonight. I was there for work. We are consolidating 2 offices down to 1. So I got to awkwardly sit there yesterday while they fired some people, which is always not necessarily the most fun thing to do. So I could tear down an office and mail the entire office back to Milwaukee. So that was a lot of fun. So my flight landed literally at like 8:56 or something is when it landed. And the minute I got off the plane, headed right up here, came home, and was able to do it. So Terry's on his way back over.
All right. Well, this doesn't sound good. It's on you.
Well, it's literally moved it a foot and a half. So,
hello, everyone, and welcome to the Smashbox TV podcast 377 after show.
Does it sound better on this mic? I don't know.
It probably doesn't, because, of course, we should be even a little bit closer to it. But I had to make some adjustments here tonight to make things happen.
You did.
So first and foremost, let's start with you're back in town. The boys are back in town.
The boys are back in town. You should sing that.
No. Where were you? What were you doing?
I just kind of explained to the people. I was in Houston, and we were consolidating one of our, technically Katy, which is on the border of Houston. And we were consolidating an office, moving some people. So I got to sit there while they fired people.
Wow. Were you like physically there?
I'm physically there.
Was it awkward?
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, F you, you're cool.
It's because my job as the IT manager was normally I'm not around when they do that stuff. I just come by after the fact, collect your goods. But because we were closing an office, because the situation with the management didn't work out in one office and they didn't have anybody, and they wanted to kind of consolidate and start not from scratch. We kept many of the people that we had, but we just let 2 of them go. But I had to sit there while this woman was let go. And then so She walked away, and I thought she was done, so I went into her office, and I started collecting her stuff. She comes back in, and I'm sitting here like at her desk. I'm like,
This is awkward.
And so I get up to move out of the way, and it's a small office.
And then she pulls out her handgun.
No. And so it's a small office. So now I'm like doing the whole left-right hallway thing, and I'm just like, I don't want to be here. Like with her laptop in my hand, I'm like, okay. And I just like got out of the way.
Well, and you know, from my perspective as well, I have a little not familiarity, but
with being fired.
No, I don't. But I do think about you're in the title. Your company is one of the largest title companies. You guys obviously deal with finances, plenty of very sensitive personal information, credit things, blah blah blah, and personal and business finances. So like when I put in my 2 weeks notice at the credit department at Kohl's Corporation, I could have stayed around, but I also had access to all of the millions of credit cards. And so they chose just to walk me out that day. So I guess, is it similar, do you feel like, with most people at your company, that when they're let go off, or does it just always depend on the job?
It depends on the job. I mean, usually, well, if you decide to leave, they'll let you do your 2 weeks most of the time. Clearly, if you're fired, they don't do that. They don't say, "Hey, we're going to fire you in 2 weeks."
Okay.
So, so they tend to just kind of like, all right, clean out your desk. So we let somebody go at one office, drove to another office, let somebody go at that office, and then I took the secondary office, boxed it all up, went to the UPS store, made really good friends with the lady who was there, and shipped out a whole bunch of stuff from Katy, Texas to Milwaukee: monitors, computers, routers, Wi-Fi things. I spent like $600 or $700 in shipping.
Yeah, wow. And I was just going to say, again, due to the nature of the business, there's probably grabbing a laptop is going to have most, if not all, of the pertinent information that you want to protect, as opposed to somebody having that to go with them. So, all right. Well, that's pretty exciting.
No, it's not the most. We opened this office almost exactly a year ago. And it's much more fun to open an office than it is to close an office, because I hate packing things up. Like, just, I hate doing it in general. It's much more fun to unpack and set up and organize than it is to kind of just be there and like, all right, I tear down a monitor. So,
and you went there what day? Sunday or Monday?
No, I left Monday morning and I came back tonight.
Okay.
So Tuesday night.
Yeah. So needless to say, your job there was very different from my job of 2 or 3 days in Phoenix.
Yes.
But,
I did eat at Rudy's, which is like one of their really good barbecue places. It's not I'll say this: it's not like your typical like a Salt Lick or a Franklin's. I jokingly told my boss who took me there, I'm like, "You're taking me to a gas station to eat," because they're all gas stations / brisket places. But apparently, it's like one of the best in like kind of that. There's a tier, like not your top tier, but your second tier, one of the best in that. And it was delicious. It was. I mean, it's Texas. It's hard to go wrong with like brisket and barbecue and ribs and like that. So ate at Rudy's today, and then went and hung out at the airport for like 4 hours.
Okay. Well,
I did something on the spur of the moment that I don't know if I made the right decision. So I was walking up to security at the airport. And some woman stops me and she says,
can you watch my bag?
No. Would you like to sign up for Clear? And I was like, sell me. And so she literally, when I said this, she walks away, grabs some other guy and says, "Hey, can you tell him about Clear?" And I was like,
wow, she was just the cute recruiter.
I honestly didn't even, she's wearing a mask. I didn't get a great look at her. So it's hard to be like, oh yeah, she's clearly the saleswoman. No. But some younger guy comes over and starts talking to me, and I signed up for Clear. It was like $100 because I got a discount because of my frequent flyer and then Amex, whatever. And so I was like, it's $100 for a year. But then I did sign up for TSA Pre.
Oh my God, it's $100 for a year?
For a year. I know TSA Pre is like it's like $100 for like 4 or 5 years.
5 or 7 years, or
I think
6.
it's 5, 4 or 5.
It's not 5. It's a goof. Well, yeah, maybe it's 5 because it was $85 to do TSA Pre.
Yeah, I don't know, but I signed up for TSA
number.
Pre, and I have to go do my thing in December now to get that. It's right off of 35th in Wisconsin, so it's like 3 miles from my office.
Okay,
I'll go do that. So then I'll have Clear and TSA.
Yeah,
Pre.
so you really only need
Clear lets you like it's a whole separate skip the line.
It is, and I've yet to see it look advantageous. Like I've seen it.
It worked really nice in the Houston airport. I literally walked. I didn't even have to show an ID. You just walk up and they say, show them your boarding pass, and you move on. But the funny thing is, if you get clear, but without TSA pre, all you're doing is skipping up to the security place, and you still have to take off your shoes and your belt and such, which is why I'm going to get the TSA pre as well.
So what you really should do, if it's not too late, is you should just get global entry.
I might cancel clear, honestly.
Well, clear, the thing is, global entry allows you to get in a little bit quicker when you're traveling anywhere international, and it includes TSA pre, and it's only $15 more.
I don't plan on going anywhere international.
Well, then you're
it's just I have no plans for that. I'm not saying it won't happen. I just have no plans for it.
Well, if we leave you in another country, then so bad.
Well, hey, that's fine.
All right. So, any other news? I know I kind of quickly recapped the majors. We talked about that. I also obviously the ESPN thing. I feel like that was the big news, along with Gavin, in which you also chimed in on. I don't know if there was anything else major.
There wasn't. Those were really the two big announcements or news items for the week. To have that.
You think we're going to continue to see? I mean, there's rumblings of players. There's a few people again who have been very adamant and very loud about their predictions in terms of potential people moving. Do you think there's more on the horizon? And
there's going to be a few, I'm sure. I don't think I don't believe there's going to be anything earth-shattering. Okay. I don't believe you're going to see anyone above probably 1035 move.
Okay. Because
at 1035, I feel like that's like the limit, or that's not the limit. That's like the low end of your elite players. Like your 1035 to 1040-ish. And those are the people that I think week in, week out have a real chance to win. Like you walk up to an event and they're a favored pick. Not that everybody doesn't have a chance to win. Bravo.
Sure.
You all get a participation trophy. But I don't believe we're going to see any major splash. I think you're going to see a couple maybe mid-tier splashes. Like a skinny guy jumping into a pool. Like Gary O jumping into a pool versus you or I.
Some other things that came out. I know some people were talking about it since last week. As Ryan just says, Ryan Pilcher, one of our good friends of the show, said that the biggest news was Ryan Pilcher on Champs versus Chumps. So make sure you guys check that out. I have not seen that by our friends over at Central Coast.
Is it funny that I've never watched an entire full Champs versus Chumps? I've caught.
I don't know if funny is the word.
Bits and pieces of them. And
I don't know that I have. But again, as you and I always say, we rarely watch.
I'm not the target audience, but I know the concept, and I've watched little clips that people have pointed me to. So congratulations, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, you're no chump in my book. And maybe you are. Okay. So yeah, make sure you go out and watch that. There was some other piece of news along those lines, though, that I was just going to reference, and it's already slipped my mind. I am working with Tim. I just want to give him a quick shout out. I'm bouncing some ideas off him. He's working with me for the cold turkey event that I've got coming up in just a couple of, now a couple days, but 10 or 12 days. So thank you, Tim. Tim, I know you absolutely probably need a response of some sorts from me. So tomorrow I would like to get anything locked down with you that I can. So I appreciate your patience and being out there on the board and such tonight. I don't know that there was a lot. It was obviously a really good time in Arizona, as one would expect. That event is just overall incredible. I talked about that at length in the regular show. 140 women. They added, holes to the other side. For those who don't know, and you'll see this a little bit in the coverage, if you go tomorrow to go play, I think it's still this way anyway. If you go out there and you play the Vista course, when our players cross the road to make that really long walk over to 7, and then once they're done with hole 12, they make the really long back to 13. Normally that part of the course is not there year round. So, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, but that is not part of the typical Vista layout. That's why when you see the Memorial take place, they call it the Memorial or the Vista XL layout, because it's a very different course than if you were to go there, say in a month or two, and just play the regular course. So the fact that they were able to put 18 full holes on that side of the property and then have the pretty much the standard Vista layout and have 20 holes was a lot of planning and a lot of really good work. So very cool to see out there. Making the course a little bit easier to attack and to go after. I think I tweeted this, so I'm going to share it with the world, even though I'm way behind and I realize this.
I was going to ask about this.
Yeah, I have officially now dug into Squid Game. And
I have not yet.
You haven't?
No, I have
Interesting.
not. I've not watched it yet. It's funny because we were talking today at the airport with my boss just about movies and TV shows that we're currently watching, and I had a choice today to start something.
Okay, like a new series.
Like a new series. I was thinking like I want to watch something. I am caught up on Foundation. There's one more episode left, but it's not out yet. It comes out Friday. And I thought, ooh, do I do Squid Game? And I decided not to, and instead I started Succession, which I think you would love.
Okay.
It's an HBO Max.
See, and as everyone else has said, I still haven't seen Ted Lasso. I'm gonna have to work some magic to get my hands on.
Yeah, Ted Lasso's great.
Yeah, and everybody won't shut up about how great it is, and I'm assuming I'm gonna like it as well.
It's great. It's funny. It's kind.
So I will have to get around to that once I can figure out how to get that onto a phone, possibly. As I always make the disclaimer, the only time I really
your daughters have iPhones, they should be able to just download it from there.
The only time I ever watch, like really invest and watch anything, is when I'm in a plane. I feel like that's I don't want to say the most productive, but it kind of is the most productive thing that I can really do. Seeing how my laptop battery is not very good. So, or when I do want to be on my laptop, if I want to edit, no matter how good the battery is, it's probably not lasting that long anyway. So I don't like to try and edit on I wish I could edit on a plane. If I had power, I would edit on every plane. So I end up watching TV, or whatever. So I'm for those at home, I'm in Squid Game and I'm still in season 1, and I have now watched.
Are there multiple seasons?
I think
there's only one season.
Isn't there a second season? Oh, maybe not.
I think there's only one season.
Okay, well then I'm still in season 1. Okay, yeah, that very well may be the case. Trailers and more. I don't know if
there's only one season.
Okay. I am through 6. And it looks like there are, at least on my app as I'm looking at it now, I think there's 9.
Mm-hmm.
I am through episode 6. The next episode that I'm ready to watch is number 7, which is the VIPs episode.
Which, now that you understand Squid Game, I think you can kind of understand a little bit better. When I walked in, my wife was just starting to sit down with my 2 kids, and I stopped her before we got thankfully,
absolutely not. Yes,
thankfully, it's like no.
And
I hadn't even watched it. I just heard a little bit about it, and I'm like, let's ixnay that.
No, I worry that one way or another, my either 10 or 13-year-old have watched it. I don't know. I haven't checked with them. I don't think they would even keep their attention long enough.
Probably not.
And it shouldn't. Yeah, it is absolutely not for kids. In fact, it made me a little squeamish at one point. It's just so heartless.
Yeah.
Or cruel maybe is a better word, but yeah. So anyway, I am enjoying it.
I'm enjoying the heartless and cruel show,
but I'm not at the same time. Like it's on
brutal.
Brutal is a good word as well.
That's everything I've heard. Which to me was one of the reasons why I have not. It might be great. There's nothing driving me to watch it other than everybody saying how great it is, as opposed to Succession, which everybody has raved about, and they're in season 3 now. So I'm excited. I had to use the airport Wi-Fi, which wasn't that great in Houston. It was like 5 down by 7 down.
I'll have to put that on my notes because you want to go to Denver, folks.
Denver and Minneapolis. Minneapolis has always been really solid as well. But Houston, not so much on the free Wi-Fi. So I could only download 1 episode of something I wanted to watch because I didn't get a chance to download it until I got to the airport. And so I was like, and I went with Succession. I'm glad I did.
All right. Well, that may have to find its way into my queue. But yeah, as confirmed on the board, it sounds like there is only 1 season of Squid Game, and it was renewed for a second. At least that's what's being said out here.
It would make sense. It's a huge hit. So
excuse me. So and no, I mean somebody had said like, well, you didn't just get to the hotel and then watch the rest. I said, no, believe it or not, I have an incredible amount of, call it restraint or just busyness. Like if I'm flying, like I said, I can give myself that kind of time. when I'm in the plane. But outside of that, and I kind of always like then that I have something that can entertain me on the plane. So I'm good with holding off for these last three.
Tell you, when's your next plane flight?
A couple weeks from now, I'm going out to the Cho, as they call it, the Chain Hawk Open, the A tier, which Gavin Rathbun might have won last year,
But won't be playing this year.
So I will be out there, and that might be a good opportunity for me to take in another episode or two. A couple other things. Carolina Chainbanger says, I know something great that happened in Arizona this weekend. The Carolina Panthers whooped the Cardinal butt.
They did.
That was
a lot of upsets this week in the NFL.
Yeah. Obviously, the Packers and the whole return with Rodgers went down. I didn't watch a single minute of the game, but
they put a whooping on the Seahawks.
Yeah, I saw some conversations after the fact, and of course, it's going to continue to polarize and be divisive. Aaron Rodgers, not only what he has or hasn't done, but then also what he's doing since then. It's going to continue to polarize everything, just like every other major topic in our country right now. The Expanse season 6 is in a month. I know you watched that, right?
I do. It's the final season, which I'm hoping after. My understanding is that there's a bunch of. I know there's a bunch of books which I have not read yet. I think I read the first book. And I've not gone any further than that. But my hope is that they're going to do some movies after this, because there's a lot more story to tell. And when you have Jeff Bezos money behind it, it's pretty solid, because that got canceled, and then Jeff Bezos, apparently it's one of his favorite
he liked
shows.
it, so he's like, yep, this is going to keep going.
More or less, yeah. They bought it for Amazon Prime, so because apparently it's one of Jeff Bezos' favorite shows, and there's a little bonus there when you can do that.
Yeah, you got to like that. Another thing I wanted to quickly touch on, I feel like earlier I saw Schwebby. Yes, he did. Okay, so I want to get this in there.
2 more wins.
Yep, said this weekend I picked up my 30th and 31st tournaments of the 2021 season. I won my 30th and 31st. Like, clearly most people dream of playing 30 events, let alone winning 30 and 31. He says, this is the second time in my career I've achieved 30 wins in a calendar year. 5 more tournaments to go this year. The grind never ends for this guy. It certainly doesn't. Just absolutely incredible.
One of the greatest.
And speaking of greatest, that's not really much of a segue, but I saw and was shown on eBay. Did I share this with you? I think I did.
I don't know if you did.
Out on eBay, some of the very first.
Oh, you did share this,
the first Disc Golf Pro Tour cards from the 2016 season. An entire box set was put up for bids. The initial bid was $999. It quickly went up by 10 or 15 bucks, and then went up by another 10 or 15. And it's got 5.5 or basically 5 days left. But right now, a box, call this a timestamp if you will, but a boxed, unopened set of the trading cards from the first year.
Those don't even have the the championship cards.
Correct.
It's just the common,
the straight 61 cards. That's 49 pros, 12 FPO. None of the bonus cards or the venue cards or the champion cards. And a straight set of that, or a straight box of that, has just 2 bids, but it's at $1,035. So
consider me curious.
I'm gonna have to log in and make sure I watch that as well.
I know you have a few sets. I have at least 3 full sets, at least 1 sealed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many boxes do you have?
1, maybe 2. I have a set that I put together that's in like an old baseball clear plastic thing, and then I've got one that's in a book that I kind of had some of them signed. I went to GBO and I had a bunch of them signed by people who I could find that were there. So. Yeah, so I know it, and those are the complete sets that are complete, as in not the championship cards, because I don't have all of the championship cards. I'm missing one of them, I think.
Well, it is
that particular year.
As I said, this is kind of honestly, this is a little bit of a selfish timestamp, just to throw it out there to see not only where this particular bidding finishes, but 5 years from now, and talking about seeing this set out there, what this pack may or may not be worth. Yes, I know I own a couple of those sealed packs as well. I've got a lot of the individual cards, as you were saying. I opened a ton of packs. I've got a few sealed packs yet as well, but this is the entire box set, and I know that I have a few of those. So I'll be really interested to see. And of course, a lot of people will say that one's so much more special because it was the first year of the tour. And to be honest, I thought at one point, like, I don't know if I really care about these. They don't seem to be doing anything. And obviously we've seen this crazy, resurgence in cards.
Was there a year that you skipped?
I think there is. And honestly, I think I'm going to have to use some of my 2016 as great trade bait to try and maybe make up for the year that I missed out on. Because I may have totally skipped one of the years.
Yeah, I know
18 maybe.
I've got sealed sets from every year.
I'm not sure that I do. So yeah, kind of crazy to see. All right, I'm gonna read a few things off the board before we close it out. Mellow. I've said this before. I don't follow a lot of basketball.
I get enough basketball from Mo's Twitter.
Yes, exactly.
Like if you love basketball, I mean, you have to love it, and especially the Bulls.
Yes,
then follow Mo.
Yeah, then follow
every
Mo,
game.
yep.
Every Bulls game is like a tweet storm.
Yes, he gets.
And I chuckle. I laugh.
Everything that you need to know. Mellow Ball is the real deal.
Oh yeah, Mellow Ball. Yep.
Yeah, the whole Ball
Mellow
family.
Or Lonzo? Saying Mellow.
Yeah, this says Mellow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just move on. Patriots probably good. Blah blah blah. He has Thunderbirds, Aviators, and I think the other mold as well. I'm not. Oh, you're talking about the 300 win disc that Schwebe had.
I'm just gonna hold out for the
available.
400 win disc.
Yeah, there you go.
Why bother with a 300? It's gonna be old hat. Unless I guess those could be like the first run of the Disc Golf Pro Tour cards, and he's like, oh no, I got the 300 edition, not the 400 edition.
All right. Yeah. Looks like some people then talking a little bit about the cards that are out there. I don't think that there was anything else that's crazy or of note that came in for this last week. Like I said, we're going to continue. I know I'm just obviously putting out the PLO coverage and the montage that's going to come out after that. Maybe a highlight with Ohn. But then also there's like 4 or 5 other projects that are literally just a few hours from being done. And I'm just going to continue to play catch up on each and every one of those to get stuff out there for you guys. So you're going to continue to see plenty of bonus content from the Disc Golf Guy channel coming at you guys over the next few weeks. I think we got a couple of additional guys you and I know that are out there doing some editing as well. So that's only going to continue to speed up the process.
Got to trust the process, as they say.
That's what Seth says. And speaking of Seth, and I know he was working with Dustin and Zoe doing some off-season training.
He was
and then
with Stokely recently.
I saw that as well. Stokely's looking absolutely ripped. So excited to see what he's going to do. Our 2020 US DGC champion, Chris Dickerson. I had to think about if that was this year or last year. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday to Chris Dickerson and good buddy and crazy wacko and good friend of his and of us, Zach Melton, celebrated his birthday the day before, just yesterday. So Ray Woodruff, we love you. I know it was your birthday as well over there at the Rocky Mountain Women's Disc Golf Championship. So had to get some shout outs in there. All right, guys, I think we're going to call it. I think this could have went way worse. It seemed to manage, but thank you guys for sticking around here tonight. I want to thank Ohn for joining us in the regular show, and of course Jamie Spencer for joining us and for all the hard work her and her entire crew did in order to make that event happen over at the PLO. It was so much fun, and again, just super honored that I could have any part of it. For Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, this has been After Show Podcast 377. I think we'll be back to a regular week come next week. Everything should be relatively normal, whatever normal means. I said normal, not good, but we will
normal
see you.
For us.
Exactly. So we'll see you next week. We'll see you then. You step inside the Smash Box. I think we're still hot. Just wait.
We might be.
No, we are. I know we are.
So let me tell you this thing about
these one guys.
yeah, these golfers that I know.
I believe you're still hearing this, folks. I know. I think there's like a full 25-second delay.
A 25-second hot mic?
Uh-huh. All right, I think I'm gonna cut it.